The 4th week of November, and the water's finally cleaned up enough for us to get some champagne lobster diving just before the season finishes. Had to make the most of it. I ended up diving 10 out of 11 potential diveable days and only missed one, so that was very good. And now we've got huge seas and it's gone back to its normal horrible dirt and too rough.
Ooh, looks perfect.
I saw this big male lobster just walking around on the bottom, so I turned the camera on while I was down there, and just beautiful. You can see the beautiful visibility. These guys can be quite doughy when they're this sort of size. It's like picking up a football off the bottom. Anyway, he's not going too hard on me. They tend to have these giant heads and little tails. But anyway, just another massive lobster. I'm putting the oversized 18 centimetre measurer. You can see he's got at least 6-7 centimetres bigger than that, so this makes this lobster about a 24-25 centimetre lobster, probably in the 6-7 kilo range. Yeah, an absolute donkey. Yeah, it's a male lobster, and being this size, of course, you've got to let him go. These gloves don't give you any protection from those big front legs, and he's been jamming them into me. Anyway, it's all worth it to get some nice footage. Off he goes back to the bottom. While it's great fun catching and releasing those big oversized lobsters, it's nice to go home with a feed, and here's some stud sized lobsters. Went for the biggest one, well under the 18 centimetres, so I can take him home, but still a really nice solid prey. The lobster head you can see in my bags from a previous catch. I always take one out with me in case I see any snapper. If you want to see the good technique for how to catch snapper using the lobster heads as burley, check out my video on how to catch big Aussie snapper. Not all the legal lobsters are huge. Here's one that's just a nice eating size. This oversized lobster was sitting in a really nice ledge. Nice for me, that is, not nice for him. Very easy to get hold of. Yeah, it's always good. The oversized are not so worried about their own safety. They're pretty confident, and they'll often be in holes like this that are relatively easy to get out. This is not one of these massively huge oversized lobsters, but all the same, he's definitely oversized. This lobster's around the 20 centimetre mark, probably just slightly under, which puts him about 3 kilos in weight. Here's another nice oversized lobster sitting well out the front of its crack. Not too hard, again, couldn't get too far back this one. Grabbed it by the horns and around the back, make sure of it, and then As I flip it over, you can see the eggs. Their eggs are a little bit harder to see on an eastern rock lobster. They're not those fluoro orange colours that you see on the tropical lobsters and the slipper lobsters. But anyway, of course, obviously all lobsters with eggs have got to go back regardless of what size they are. I've shown you a lot of easy to catch lobsters in the last few videos, but this is one that was a real serious challenge. I really would have had to grab this guy straight up before he got back in, and I had a crack, got hold of the antenna. I'm trying to hold him still and just get my other hand in around to grab him, but unfortunately the antenna snapped off before I can get my other hand on him, and he's got right up the back of this crack, and it was a very, very tricky crack, I can tell you. Anyway, I missed him that go, so I'm back down for another crack at him. I'm trying to work out, there's always an angle, often an angle that you can get in, and you need to be careful. You don't want to stick yourself and wedge yourself in the bottom of these cracks, but all the same, if you keep looking for a different way in, you can often get him. Now, this lobster had a hole behind him that you couldn't actually pull him through, which is disappointing. So I could get my hand through, I could touch the tail, I could even get my hand around the tail, but there was no way that I could actually pull him through that hole. So it was a bit of a problem. But what you can do with that hole is make him a bit nervous and push him around and manipulate him a bit so that he sits in a bit better position so that you can actually grab him. I needed at least another 6 or 7 dives before I finally ended up with this guy in my hand. And sometimes it doesn't matter what you do. You can see a beautiful couple of lobsters, a crack that looks like you should be able to get into it, but you just can't find the spot to get in and grab them. And these lobsters have made a very good selection of home. Here's the catch. So that's a maximum size measurer. So you can see he's perhaps 17 and a half, no, 16 and a half. There's the smallest one. You see he's legal, but look at the size difference. And this guy's in between. Anyway, got me 2 days running. Very happy. November's a prime month for jewfish on the mid-north coast, and with the seas backing off a bit and the water nice and clear, it was time to get around the headland and shoot a nice little one for dinner. I've got a nice little sheltered gutter at high tide I can jump into and swim out, so even if it's a little bit rougher I can still get out. And always load the gun as soon as you can, because you never know when you're going to pop through those bubbles and there's going to be a nice jewfish sitting there. Anyway, before that I saw this nice little flathead sitting there, and I love to eat these guys, and I tried to line him up really accurately, but reasonable shot into him I thought, but when you pin the shaft like that it gives him some leverage. Anyway, this guy rips off, but it's all ended well. I managed to find him again and clean him up. I hate injuring fish and having them get away, so it's always nice when you can find that one that's ripped off and shoot it again cleanly and land it. Here's a lovely big school of jewfish with a few luderick swimming around, but unfortunately the vast majority of these fish are undersized, and it's very hard to find one that's 70 centimetres plus, so if in doubt, obviously don't pull the trigger. Found another school that had some little bit bigger fish, and this is a beautiful eating size one, about 85 centimetres. No giant, but very good for the table. Back out a couple of days later, the swell's come up a bit. Had another southerly come through, but the water's still nice and crystal clear, so time to get out and chase some more dew. I've come over this ridge and I've seen this dew sitting down there, and he's been shot by another diver and ripped off, so it's definitely the fish I want to shoot if I can, because he's already injured, and it's just as good to take this one home rather than have a shot at another one. So anyway, I think I'm going to clean him up, no worries. Look at that beautiful, oh jeez, shocking shot. Anyway, a little bit of buck fever maybe, is shaking around a little bit too much, but I should have really stoned this fish. You can see where the wound is on this fish. I'd say almost certainly that's going to heal up. Lots of jewfish you see with the scars there, but anyway, it is what it is. Now I'm getting into one of my favourite holes. There's lots of whitewater and surge. Got to try to time it between the waves to get in, and you're going to come up on the jewfish very quickly, so they're going to be pretty peaky. Got to be ready to make sure the fish is legal, the one you want, and that you can get a good shot in. So it's nice challenging diving. I'm pretty sure I've hit this guy in the spine the way that he's fighting, and I'm a bit worried that the shaft hasn't gone right through, and even though he's mortally injured, if I go too hard on it I can pull the spear out of it. So I'm trying to let it play out, try to swim it out of the white water, not put any pressure on it. The dew's going to fade pretty quickly and give me a chance to grab it, so I keep swimming it out of the white water, get it into a little bit more civilized situation so I can land it. Again, it's not a massive fish. This one was 90 centimetres, but well over legal size and beautiful eating, and the shaft hadn't gone right through, so I was happy to get it. Another day and I'm out wide looking for jewfish on my wider reefs. This is where I've shot some really big specimens in the past before, these beautiful deep undercut gutters where jewfish like to hang out, but the only thing that was hanging out was these three Queensland groper, one really nice big one and then a medium one and a small one. Just love seeing these fish. They're not resident fish down here. I think they come down in the first of the warm water, and here they are just all lined up looking at me. I just thought it was nice to get some video of them. They make those, you can't hear it on the video, but they make these beautiful big tail cracks as they turn, and yeah, anyway, beautiful looking fish. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've got any questions or any comments, please feel free to leave them. Happy to answer anything.